Kunle, the Olofofo specialist. Welcome, oh. How are you? Doki, a gentle. How you doing, Baba? We thank God. Everything must work together. I need Latin which one are you coming from? This one that you are using toothpick. Doki. Mosari Shimugbomo branch ni. A friend of mine, Shege, was going to his friend's naming ceremony, and I just decided to tag along. The chicken hang from my teeth while they try use toothpick come out. Baba Agba, I trust you now. Oh, I'm there and investigative journalism now. You're 5 and 6. Doki, free me, Joe. Hey, Doki, you get something what I noticed for that picking way than the name. I see, I go ask you, cause the thing, you get a CB. What did you notice, Kunle? Doki, that picking is small somehow, like picking we no ripe well, and the picking fair. You know, I know say newborn picking they fair pass in papa and mama, but this one in fair pass that one. We be like MTN everywhere you go. Kunle, those descriptions sound scary. Doki, me said things say something no add up. Doki, I beg enlighten me. Well, Kunle, as usual, I have to speculate. Following what you have said, that baby might have been born prematurely, and that baby might have severe jaundice, which, if not quickly handled, could cause severe brain damage or even death. Doki, is it that serious? Yes, Kunle. Whether premature or not, jaundice in newborn babies can be very damaging, and it can be amplified by certain situations like newborn infections that we refer to as neonatal sepsis, prematurity, and other causes. Doki, no be this jaundice they make our parents then they give PawPaw water, they give ampiclox multivite, they carry pikin put for under early morning sun. Oh, sure, Kunle, very likely. But the thing is that some of these practices are either harmful or of absolutely no benefit. The use of ampiclox and multivitamins, for example, to prevent jaundice is absolutely baseless. Doki, this is shocking, oh. Now the normal thing wey they prescribe for newborn baby for hospitals be that now. Well, Kunle, the use of antibiotics are reserved for newborns with clear evidence of infection or risk for infection, and the right kind of antibiotic and the right dose has to be used to achieve the right kind of effect. And as far as jaundice is concerned, only if the jaundice is caused by infection will this antibiotic use be directly beneficial. Doki. PawPaw water anko? You see that one, Kunle? It's a major problem. I'm yet to find any evidence anywhere that there is something in PawPaw water that is beneficial in preventing or treating jaundice. And what still is the fact that babies that are supposed to be exclusively breastfed are not given any added water, are given often contaminated PawPaw water, which can cause them serious newborn infections or other problems. Doki na wow, oya early morning sun nko? Well, that one does have basis in medicine. It's the basis of what we call phototherapy, which is this special light that we put babies with jaundice under in the hospital setting. And, you know, for a baby that doesn't have a very high level of jaundice, early morning sun could be helpful. Okay, Doki, so wetin be this jaundice sef? This one where you talk say they damage brain abi if you even kill pikin. Baba, I beg explain. Well, Kunle, jaundice is caused by something in the blood we refer to as bilirubin, which is the product of the breakdown of red blood cells. Doki, I don't go carry pen and paper, so you don't start with this your big grammar. You see, the red blood cells are the part of the blood that carry oxygen around the body, and they are what gives the blood that red color. And they are produced largely in the bone marrow after a baby is born. And the same way they are being produced, they all have a lifespan. So after a number of days, they die up and are replaced by the new ones that are being produced. Doki, how normal process for body can dey turn wahala now? Well, Kunle, Newborn babies are born with more red blood cells than they need. You see, inside the womb, there is not as much oxygen. So the body responds by producing a lot more red blood cells. But when the baby comes out of the womb and there is a lot more oxygen around, the body kind of sends a signal and says, see, we have more than enough. Stop producing new red blood cells so that the old ones, the excess, can die off. So this breakdown of those excess blood cells is what causes jaundice in most babies. Doki, did it make sense small? Continue. So this process I just explained is what causes what we call physiologic jaundice, that you can refer to as normal jaundice. But there are several other reasons why you can have abnormal levels of jaundice, and all this border around excessive destruction of these red blood cells more than the body can cope with. Okay, Doki, from the things where you don't talk before, infection will be part of them, abi? Sure, Kunle. Other causes include mismatch between the mother and baby's blood group. For example, if the mother's blood group is O and the baby is A or B, there are certain things in the mother's body that crosses into the baby's blood and begins to break down the baby's red blood cells. Another scenario is if the mother is rhesus negative. For example, if the mother is O negative, A negative, B negative, or AB negative, and the baby is O, A, B, AB positive, whichever of those. Again, because of that difference, there are certain soldiers in the mother's blood that can cross into the baby's blood and start to destroy the blood cells, causing high levels of bilirubin in the blood. Omo, that one brutal. Mama go dey cause katakata for a pikin. Well, it's not the mother's fault, but it is what it is. There's another cause like that. It's genetic. It's something we call glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. Doki, say what? Oya Kunle, no vex. Anyway, because of that big grammar problem, you see, when the baby is exposed to certain things like certain drugs, camphor that some people use to store their clothes, mentholatum, which can either be in rub that they rub on the baby, or in there's something that they call, I think, silver bed or something like that they put in the baby's bath water, or even powder. Those things trigger a certain reaction in the body that cause rapid breakdown of red blood cells, and this problem, because it's genetic, often continues into adulthood. Now wow, Doki, so how this jaundice thing they damage brain? They even cause death. Well, Kunle, in babies less than 1 week old, there's something we call the blood-brain barrier, which is supposed to protect the brain from certain harmful things in the blood. But in these children, it's not yet fully formed. So everything that is in the blood can get to the brain, including harmful things like bilirubin. And of course, there are other things, like some of the things we spoke about, like infection prematurity, that can make even a fully formed blood-brain barrier a little more porous, increasing the risk of jaundice in a child that may even be above 7 days. So how person go know say kasala wan burst, since you talk say most babies they get normal jaundice? Well, normal jaundice rarely goes to very high levels and often clears on its own without any special treatment. But with abnormal jaundice, the levels can go very high and damage the brain, causing something we call acute bilirubin encephalopathy. Chai, Doki. Now sickness name be this, I been a cause. Doki, why you doctors? Why not like big grammar like this now? Sorry, Kunle, we can't help it. Anyway, the core of the matter is that when a baby has a very severe level of jaundice like that, one of the first things you can notice is that the baby is yellow, the eyes are yellow, the baby skin might be yellow up to the feet, and one of the first things that parents notice usually is that the baby may refuse to suck, and then the baby can be crying one high-pitched cry like that, and you can also have the baby moving the hands and the legs as though the baby is trying to ride bicycle, or the baby's back could be arched, backwards. These are some of the things you can see. Chai, Doki, see what you talk now be like that pikin wey I see you. Unke be in winisha. Wetin the parents they look at? It be like say they don't even know say problem dey. Well, Kunle, the ignorance out there is deep, and we have to stop it. From problems like people having their babies at home, some of them born prematurely, to delivery being aided by certain untrained, unregistered quacks, some who parade themselves as nurses or midwives or traditional birth attendants, to some of those harmful practices we spoke about earlier, to people not being able to recognize early when there is a problem. See, the matter plenty. Doki, pikin wey survive this severe jaundice, e dey normal after so? No, Kunle. Babies who survive this severe form of jaundice, often grow up having problems with movement and posture. So some of these people you see in the society who have some difficulty, walking, talking, and look like they have some kind of brain problems. Some are as a result of damage to the brain from jaundice caused when they were babies. Omo, Doki. So how we wan solve this problem now? Well, Kunle, it starts with women registering early for antenatal care in registered and trusted healthcare centers, whether they are government or private centers. In Lagos State, for example, there are primary healthcare centers in many areas, so it's difficult to make an excuse of not having access to quality healthcare. In some remote areas, however, there are some traditional birth attendants that are registered and trained, and they know when to refer pregnancies they are monitoring or deliveries that they are about to take to proper hospitals when they sense that there might be a problem. But you see, people need to be wary of these people out there, all these anti-nurse, and all these traditionalists, and even some of these so-called maternity homes, where the people that are there are not trained people, are not people who have the license to take deliveries. People need to be wary. Doki, say more. Well, Kunle, if babies are born at proper centers, identifying and solving problems will not be very difficult. And parents need to be more observant to notice. The minute you notice that your baby is looking yellow, you may not see the eyes all the time, but the skin is looking yellow, don't just assume that the baby is looking fair or getting finer. That baby should be gotten to the hospital and the level of the jaundice tested, and then medical professionals advise on the appropriate next steps. Doki, thank you. I don't learn another thing today. Make a quick go call Shege. Me go check that in friend whether they don't carry the pikin go hospital. Doki, make a declare. Kunle the Olofofo specialist, investigative journalist extraordinaire. We go to see you. Hello, people. Hope you enjoyed the just concluded series. Jaundice in newborn babies is a big deal. A big deal because a major problem we face, especially in government hospitals, is that we see people present very late when these children have jaundice that has advanced and already started causing some degree of brain damage. So it's very important, firstly, to ensure that we encourage pregnant mothers to book for antenatal care at appropriate places. See, in most places, I can speak for Lagos State, there are primary healthcare centers spread around many areas. And at least with antenatal care, it's possible to identify pregnant mothers who might have problems with delivery, and also in reviewing the babies that have been born to identify quickly if there is a problem. Also, parents need to be more observant. You've had this baby, and this baby is beginning to look yellow. Please be quick to seek help. And please, let's stop all these horrible practices of giving PawPaw water, herbal concoctions, and all manner of things to newborn babies. Babies do not need excess oil on their head. They do not need or mentholatum being rubbed on their bodies or on their umbilical cord. They don't need dung. Some people go as far as putting cow dung on the baby's cord, or using the cord that they've cut off, they put it in, they heat it up and then they use it. I really don't understand why all these things are done, but we see a lot of babies come down with severe newborn infections, with severe jaundice because of all these harmful practices. It's about time we desist. It's about time we start saving our newborn babies, ensuring that they grow to achieve their full potential. Please, 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 let's listen, let's take caution, and we would have more healthy babies. Kunle Olofofo is right by the corner. He will return to you soon with another interesting series. Please follow Please like, please share, and where applicable, turn on the notification button so that you can see the posts as soon as they drop. See you later.